invite our next speaker, who's not on the program, he's in addition to the program, is Dr. Chairul Bahri. Dr. Chairul Bahri is originally from Indonesia, and he did his PhD in physics in 1994 at the Louisiana State University. He was then a postdoc at the University of Toronto from 1994 to 2001. And then he was a senior postdoc researcher from 2001 to 2004 at LSU. I personally met Dr. Bahri around 2005 during Hurricane Katrina. By the grace of Allah, he was one of the many volunteers that Dr. Sohail Hussain and I went down and worked with for some of the relief efforts of Humanity First. After that time, Dr. Bahri was a visiting scholar at Notre Dame from 2010 to 2013. He's published over 35 articles in physics and computer science, and now he's currently working in the financial services industry. He's currently the president of the Bloomington Jamaat. He's Zayman Sarallah for Chicago West as well in the past, and he's one of the Waqf-e-Naw teachers. So it's my distinct privilege to invite Dr. Bahri to address us on "And His Throne is Carried by 8 Angels, Simplicity Within Complex Systems." Dr. Bahri.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والملك على أرجائها ويحمل عرش ربك فوقهم يومئذ ثمانية. Respected moderators, brothers and sisters, in the last minute I was able to collect all of this information for you to share. This dated back when I came from Toronto, the US. I was a postdoctoral fellow researcher at Louisiana State University, returning to my alma mater and attending a refresher course sometime immediately after 2001. And we had a conversation with some Khuddam, some Qaidin at that time. I don't know, probably some of you may remember that. And this is in Boston, the center of knowledge. Harvard University is there, MIT is there. And we discussed about physics. And I believe there is something hidden there which need to be explored and lashed out. And about a year ago, while my wife is in Virginia, we have some conversation. For some reason, something sparked in my mind, which I'd like to share with you regarding this particular verse. What should I press here? The right button? This is the verse that I recited earlier. In the Maulana Chairul translation, it's given as, "And the angels will be standing the sides thereof." Oops. And the above them that 8, these angels in italic, will bear the throne of thy Lord. This is Surah Al-Haqqah, verse 18. Number 8 occur in the Holy Quran only 4 times. And if you notice, this is related to cattle twice. And the red one here is related to this particular verse. And one other, this is Surah Al-Haqqah, verse 8, related to the 8 days, 7, 9, and 8 days. This is related to the punishment. So there are some interesting facts that can relate even into cattle if you like to investigate further on this particular verse. So I pause here. I'm trying to exchange with you the knowledge I learned from physics. There are 4 fundamental physical forces in nature: gravitation, weak nuclear force, electromagnetism, and strong nuclear force. And this is what we know right now. There's leptons, quarks, this elementary particle. And then for leptons, it's electrons. It has a charge. It carries it can experience electromagnetic wave, electromagnetic interaction, and also weak force. And the second one is the less known, it's a neutrino, but There's young scientists who asked about supernova. That's neutrino is basically can detect that, can be detected from how this weak interaction unleashed in the abundance. And then there are quarks. I'll come to the quarks a bit later, but this is basically the constituents of our protons. Let's go back to the earlier slide, which I like to draw attention to you. Number one, here, put angels in plural, but if you look at the word, the Arabic word is al-malak. Al-malak is translated normally as angel, but at the same time, the terminology of force, or basically force or power, is also in this particular word, al-malak. And then you have 8, and the word 8 here, as you notice, its angels are basically italicized, meaning that this is interpretation coming from there. Let's see the first one, electromagnetic force. This is the most known fundamental force in the universe, and the most utilized force. Chemistry, biology, geology, in all of this field, we are the terrestrial being are familiar with this electromagnetic force. The interaction like cohesive force, adhesive force, they are derived interaction coming from electromagnetism. The most fundamental building block for electromagnetic interaction or electromagnetic force is electron, discovered by British physicist J.J. Thomson in 1897. And I have a particular reason why I put the year there. It's very important because it can be related into the verses I can cover later on. And then the second entity is atomic nucleus, discovered by Ernest Rutherford in 1911. So what you have here, all elements can be reduced into atom as the most fundamental constituent for element. It consists of one atomic nucleus and one electron, or multiple electrons. The simplest form of an atom is hydrogen atom, when you have one proton and one electron. Here I put a mathematical terminology that relates into that symmetry of this fundamental atom here, a hydrogen atom, which is called SO4. We'll come into that one later, but a little bit later toward the end of the talk. So in general, you have atoms, molecules, matters, and chemistry. Atom is basically one atomic nucleus that basically anchor the mass of the system into one point, and consists of many electrons and electromagnetic interactions. And then you have molecules, many atomic nuclei with many electrons, also consists of many electromagnetic interaction that can be described as many photons here, and so on. If you consider all of these systems, a very complicated system, but one may find there is an organized principle there. Let's fast forward. First one is known as law of octaves, introduced by British chemist John Newlands, that there is a periodicity of the term of 8. And independently, the periodic table is introduced by Dmitry Mendeleev. This is the initial construction they have, and this former speaker has introduced about this periodic table. And you notice there are periodic of 8. Furthermore, there is octet rules in molecular construction. It's well known by the chemists. Basically, either in the form of ionic bonds or covalent bonds, electrons in the number of 8, they basically define the interaction based on this electromagnetic interaction. Now, in the nuclear physics form, what you have here is introduced by physicists, and I just want to point out Yuval is the student of Dr. Abdul Salam, who got Nobel Prize prior to Dr. Salam. So he introduced the concept of eightfold way. Then because the time is very short here, I just want to introduce very quickly, this is the quarks and gluons. The most important part I'd like to highlight here, there are 8 carriers for strong interaction. I just need to go further. The unification of interaction that has been dreamed by Einstein first, and then Dr. Abdul Salam introduced the scheme, the mechanism how to unify the first one, electromagnetism and weak nuclear force, and people has extended further. And the last piece in the puzzle here, the gravity. One come up with the superstring theory, and later on the E8 theory has been introduced. I'd like to show it here. This is the E8, basically 8-dimensional mathematical object that can bring all these particles within the same form. There's a problems with this construction. I just listed here. But one thing I would like to share with you, how would I interpret that particular verse, the following. The force of electromagnetism that carry with the 8 valence particles, and strong nuclear force that carry with 8 types of gluon. And now this is the future. I'm basically appealing to all the young scientists and youth here. Consider this 8-dimensional object to answer that unification of forces for the future. Thank you.